So today's topic is ergonomics, how to prevent injuries through ergonomics. And ergonomics is basically defined as a science how humans interact with the system they are living in. And we are going to cover in this topic how a company can implement an ergonomic system in place and how they can avoid injuries. But before we start, we can define ergonomics is just the scientific discipline concerned about the understanding of the interaction between human and the system they are living in. So let's say in a company, ergonomic will be how humans are interacting with the chair they are sitting on, they are lifting anything they are lifting within the company. So the goals at the end of this presentation is try to impart on the participant how they can avoid the injuries, especially musculoskeletal injury, which are related to how people are moving their bodies and when it comes to lifting, sitting, or any other posture they maintain while working. So ergonomics is it's more related how you can minimize or prevent musculoskeletal disorders or repetitive strain injuries. So an example would be carpal tunnel syndrome, tennis elbow, or any other disease like that which are related to poor posture. So risk factor is mostly related to heavy lifting, pushing, extended time spent in an awkward posture, frequent exposure to excessive noise or vibration can cause also some of the problems that we find. So in terms of numbers, the Bureau of Labor Statistics in the U.S. reported is over 1 million workplace injuries related to musculoskeletal. And agencies here in Canada, mostly the numbers are tracked by the Canadian Centre for Occupational Health and Safety. And you have in the state, you have the Occupational Safety and Health Administration. And other countries have similar agencies which track these numbers. But so in terms of the role of ergonomics in the workplace, it's a place where everyone can play a role. Mostly the employee themselves, the special committee, or we can have an ergonomics coordinators, and there are case studies that someone can look into that. But the goals here is just look at the assessment cycle in terms of how a company can apply ergonomics in day-to-day work is by identifying first the hazards, secondly by assessing them, and after assessing the hazard, then develop a plan and implement the plan, and then reassess once or evaluate once the plan is implemented. In terms of identifying the hazards, it will be looking at the safety data, performing job analysis, or looking at the production data, or about complaints, or use any software which can give you all the numbers. So if you go about assessing any ergonomics in a company, you can use a checklist, you can use the lifting calculators, you can also do employee interviews or survey just to find out how they're using it. But once you've gone and assessing the hazard, then the question comes down to how do you develop a plan then to address. There are three methods really, but they can go under all the controls which can be in place. One, engineering controls will be changing how all the system that humans are interacting with by making it more safe, like changing the chairs in a company. The second type of control method to address ergonomic issue will be organizational, be how you restrict the length of shift, give people rest periods. So it'll be more administrative controls. And the last one that we identify here is just at the individual level to educate them, encourage them to take frequent breaks, and that can lead to a better ergonomics plan. Once you've implemented a plan, then the second phase here is to look once the solution has been developed, and then it's gaining employee buy-in within a company. And there are many ways, but I guess the getting employee to see a benefit that is going to, in terms of benefit they will gain from the plan itself, will go a long way in getting buy-in. But otherwise, at the end of the day, it has to be a win-win situation. It can't be a one-sided one once they see the value in the plan that they're trying to implement, then you'll gain employee buy-in. And the most difficult part will be the transition, how you transition from the hazards being identified to getting to implementing the plan and by getting employee buy-in. Once you've obtained the buy-in from employee, you have to think about the change that you've experienced, whether the people are feeling it's almost a threat to how they conduct their work on a daily basis. But and now you can there are some tips that someone can use in terms of a successful implementation. Is giving people as much input and control as possible, implementing a change gradually, make a change as easy, be clear, continue following up with employees, and then see if that system is working for everyone. Only then you can gain the buy-in. But once you've implemented the plan and the time comes to review the ergonomic program, one will be you can do a follow-up schedule, check in with managers and the supervisors, and you can have interview the supervisor to see how it's working. You can have a ergonomics team within the companies which can provide you more data, or you can do a yearly review of all ergonomic efforts being done within a company. But again, the other method, the quicker one, might just be looking at the safety data and the statistics. But there are triggers for unscheduled ergonomic reviews when the new equipment is added, or there's a change in job responsibility that can cause new hazards, or there's a new pattern of incident, or an issue has been raised by staff members. Then you can look at reviewing the ergonomic program which has been implemented. But things to look for, it will be the original hazard. Has it been resolved or mitigated? Why not? Where the new hazard created or what caused it, whether it's just some new piece of equipment being deployed within the company or anything has changed in the industry, then you can look at reviewing the ergonomics program. But once you review it, and you can see some of the tools to use in reviewing an ergonomic program will be things like checklists, lifting calculators, symptom surveys, or employee survey. Once you've accomplished those and review it, now it's a follow-up. Go follow up with the employees and look at how much they are home. But otherwise, you've come to the end of our presentation. If there are any questions, this PowerPoint will be available to everyone. There are some case studies you can look into just to review, just to check in whether or evaluate what the content presented here. But otherwise, thank you very much for attending, and have a great day.